Hi, welcome back to another video. I'm going to go through some more Depeche Mode deliveries, starting with cassettes. So I got Black Celebration, Scandinavian version, which has the NCB label on there. Now, difference between that and the normal UK version that I'm used to seeing, or the one I've got from the UK, is basically it's got paper label. It's got graded 0 to 100 timing window, same as this, but this is a text on the actual plastic. This is a paper label, and in actual fact, another delivery that I got is an alternate UK version with a cross-hatched plastic instead of the smooth plastic. And also you'll see on the cross-hatched one the timing window is much bigger and doesn't have the 0 to 100 scale on it like this one does, what I would call the standard UK release. So that's a kind of good illustration of the extent of my nerdiness when it comes to collecting the tapes. And then in terms of the Scandi inlay, it's exactly the same as the UK inlay. It's got the lyrics on the kind of distinctive yellow background with some of the logos included that are on the vinyl album. And that's it for tapes on this video. I want to make a correction from a previous video where I talked about a Singles 8698 sampler, which wasn't this one. This is the one that I got recently. The other one I got a year or so ago, the one with the actual sleeve on it and the kind of 1990s cover. This sampler's from Belgium. The other one was from the US. The US got treated much better because this one in Belgium has only got 3 tracks on it. They're good tracks, but there's only 3: Stripped, Behind the Wheel, and I Feel You. I think that this was actually a sampler off the cover of a magazine, if I remember rightly. So there's no actual proper sleeve to that, and the case I've put it in a slimline jewel case. That's not what it came with. And then I've got my Discogs list open so I can see what's next. Well, more importantly, where these things came from. I want to show you a couple of 101 albums that I've got recently. Let me just check this one. Yeah, this is a Benelux release, so this is in the card fold-out case, which became sort of standard for 101 in UK and Europe after the Fat Box release. So it's more or less identical to the UK release. The Fat Box release in the UK, what I mean by that is this big double CD case, which I really like actually. We used to get a lot of compilations, dance compilations and now albums and stuff in these kind of cases back in the day. So it's the full sort of 20 tracks on here. There were some tracks missing off the LP, namely Sacred, Nothing and A Question of Lust. And what they did is they kind of followed up with the single, and I've got it out. The Everything Counts live single included those 3 other tracks, Nothing, Sacred and A Question of Lust, as extra tracks on the single. So this is I didn't get this recently, I've had this since it came out. But just to explain what they did with those missing tracks from the LP, but they're on the CD. What I got recently is the US version, which actually helpfully says on it a two-disc set with 3 extra songs recorded live at Pasadena Rose Bowl, June the 18th, 1988. That's the text on the cover there. Compare it to the UK one. We're supposed to know in the UK who these people are, so it hasn't got Depeche Mode written on the front, hasn't got 101 written on the front, hasn't got an explanation of what the album is. We need to look at the back for that. this one, also got it on the back as well. US one's white on back, UK one black on the back, at least the copy that I've got. So that's three variations of 101, two of which arrived recently. For the order, it's on to vinyl next. I've got a couple of reissues. This is the music on vinyl, exclusively remastered 180 gram audiophile vinyl pressing from BMG on the music on vinyl tag label, whatever you want to call it. It's a gatefold release with the saucy picture in, and a sleeve note by Daniel Miller. Same kind of feel as I think the 2017 180 gram reissue, although this is supposed to be, well, there is some debate over both this and Ultra, you can see in the background, as to which one's actually the best pressing. To me, this sounds great. I haven't listened to the more recent remastered 180 gram vinyl for quite some time, so I haven't made a comparison, but this certainly sounds great on my record player, and it's just interesting what you hear every time you listen to Violator, all these different noises in the background. And the same actually goes for Ultra as well, which is the other thing I want to show you quickly before I get on to the real juicy thing, which is there. So obviously Violator's the big album, and then Ultra is supposedly the really difficult album that they recorded after Alan Wilder left, after the Songs of Faith and Devotion tour. He'd had enough, wasn't feeling loved, so they were down to a trio for Ultra. There's some rather disparaging sleeve notes inside from Daniel Miller about this is the album that had to be made. It's not necessarily the best album, but it had to be made to keep the band together. It's got some brilliant singles on it. It's No Good and Useless in particular. And Home. God, what an amazing song. And the transition between Home and It's No Good on side A. Wow. So again, there's some debate online about whether this is the best repress or not. I don't know. It's nicely packaged, that's for sure. Sounded good when I played it. I hadn't listened to Ultra for a while. I think side A is probably much better, I think, than side B. Side A's got Barrel of a Gun. Forgot about Barrel of a Gun. What a great song. So Barrel of a Gun, The Love of Thieves, Home, It's No Good, Uselink and Useless. Great. And then the B-side, Sister of Night, Jazz Thieves, Free State, The Bottom Line, Insight. Kind of gives you a kind of preview of what happened on Exciter, I suppose, in a way. On the basis, Tim Simonham did a good job with production on that. And overall, very nice. Couple of albums there. And then the last thing to show you, which I'm super pleased about, this is me being pleased, is finally got hold of A Question of Time, the marbled vinyl version from Germany. It's quite a tricky one to get hold of at a decent price. I won't go into pricing on these videos. You can look it up. What are the tracks on this then? Question of Time Extended Mix, which is mixed by Phil Harding. And then side 2's 3 live tracks: Black Celebration, Something to Do and Stripped from Birmingham NEC 1986. And I just love those early live tracks, especially the Birmingham NEC stuff. And that's mixed by Gareth Jones, of course. So let's have a look at the disc itself, which is a thing of beauty. And if I drop this, I'll cry. So there we have it. So there's a whole series of these marbled or splattered vinyls, and they just look absolutely amazing. And some are trickier to get hold of than others. I think there's one quite legendary one that may or may not exist. There even seems to be some debate on Discord about it, even though there's photos showing it. I think that one's it's either for Stripped or A Question of Lust in that series. I think the series ends. I might be completely wrong here, and you can correct me in the comments, but I think that the marbled vinyl series from Germany ends with Never Let Me Down Again. But they also did a colour series as well, and the colour series is even harder to get hold of. So yeah, you might have seen the transparent orange Never Let Me Down Again. There's loads of those knocking about. Similarly for Strange Love. But then going back in time, there's also like white and grey vinyls for things like See You and Enjoy the Silence. So Enjoy the Silence on white vinyl. Wow, that's pricey. That's a rare one. So really nice to have this in the collection. I've got a couple of other ones, but not particularly extensive, just because of how not extensive because they're so expensive. There you go. I'll leave you on that. Cheers. Bye. Got Black Celebration tape. This one. Why? Cut this out. Why? 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 Dee 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 dee. Ba 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 ba. Scandinavia. Yeah.